At the 2022 US Open, we are guaranteed a first-time Grand Slam winner. It could be Sinner, Alcaraz, Rublev, Tiafoe, Ruud, or Khachanov. So let's do some previews of those matches, two quarterfinals and one semi-final, and discuss another exciting prospect, because both Alcaraz and Ruud could become world number one for the first time, and Nadal could take the top spot for the 9th time in his career. My name's Henry Tui, welcome to this breakdown, and subscribe if you love tennis. I'm working really hard to keep producing the best tennis content I can, so subscribing would mean the world. So let me know who you think will take these matches and eventually the US Open trophy in the comments, and let's start with the quarterfinals. So let's start with the most exciting, Sinner versus Alcaraz, because what a juicy match this will be. This is their third meeting this season. And this kind of budding next-gen rivalry is one of the best at the moment. They played at Wimbledon, which is a very, very tight 4-setter, and they played a few weeks later in the UMAG final, which was a dominant 3 sets. And Sinner took both of these contests, really disturbing Alcaraz with his kind of weight of shot and depth, especially off the return. Because he took so much time away from Alcaraz, it didn't allow Alcaraz to be offensive. He had no time and he just was not planted for his shots. Also, Sinner seemed to have kind of a mental edge over Alcaraz, because in the last 2 meetings, though at Wimbledon and in the UMAG final, Alcaraz was 0 of 11 breakpoint 1. He had so many chances, but he could just not convert because he was barely making a return. He tanked so many and hit so many long. And he just really frustrated himself and just did not play those big moments clinically enough. So Alcaraz needs to improve his returning numbers and try and get on the front foot as early as possible in the rallies. It will be a very, very tight match whichever way it goes, but I do see Sinner as the victor. And my prediction is Sinner in 4 sets. Next up, Rublev versus Tiafoe, the other quarterfinal. And this is another match with unbelievable firepower from both players. Their head-to-head is split 1-1, and their last meeting, Rublev won in pretty comfortable straight sets earlier this year. But I do think at the moment this is a very, very even match, and there is no clear favourite. Rublev has won some titanic 5-setters this tournament against the likes of Shapovalov, which he won in a 5th set tiebreak. And Tiafoe has beaten Nadal with kind of perfect strategy and execution. So they are both very much on form and looking extremely dangerous. But I do think Rublev at times can be a bit emotionally fragile. And although he has handled it pretty well thus far, I think as the importance of these matches goes, he could run into a bit of trouble, because he did start to get really nervous against Norrie, struggling to close out sets. And also with the crowd supporting Tiafoe, I think that could get the American over the line. I'm sure it will go 5 sets, and I will edge Tiafoe. Tiafoe loves the big crowds in the big stadiums, especially when they're on his side, and he'll fuel them up and they will fuel him. So my prediction is Tiafoe in 5, but I would not be surprised at all if it was Rublev in 5. So now let's go on to the first semi-final, Ruud versus Khachanov. They have played before in 2020, which Ruud took in a tight 3 sets, but I don't think that is particularly important for this match, as it was a few years ago, and they are quite different players now. Ruud overcame Berrettini in straight sets, and Khachanov downed Kyrgios in a clutch 5 sets. Ruud in his match at times looked unplayably good against Berrettini, and his weapons were really firing, I don't think like they ever have before on a hardcore. And the ease at which he swept aside Berrettini with his massive weapons really gives me the confidence that he can handle Khachanov fairly easily, and my prediction is Ruud in 4 sets. So now let's move on to the potential world number 1s, which is Ruud and Alcaraz. Let's just start off with Nadal. If neither Ruud or Alcaraz make the final, Nadal takes the number 1 spot for the 9th time. Let's go on to the new potential world number 1s. So Ruud and Alcaraz. If one of them makes the final and the other doesn't, the finalist will take the top spot no matter if he wins or loses. If they both make the final, however, this is the really exciting bit. If they both make the final, whoever wins that match will become world number 1. And if they do both make it there will be so much on the line at that match. Not only their first Grand Slam title, but also the potential world number 1 spot. So that would just be a fantastic match between this next generation. But that wraps up my analysis. It was quite a short video, but a lot of work goes into my videos, so subscribing would mean the world. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a great one. And also, let me know what you thought in the comments.